Here we go. Welcome to the Golf Podcast Live. I'm your host, Michael Bleackley, and today I'm pleased to be sitting here with Len Mattiace, two-time PGA Tour winner. And Len, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be with you guys again.
Yeah, fantastic. Ralph will dial in shortly. But yeah, we've got lots to talk about. You've been a busy guy down there in northern Florida. First off, you had an award, and let me get this right. It's the Chip Tray Fry Community Game Changer. Is that to do with the first tee?
That's right. Yeah, the first tee started this award a couple of years ago, and I actually met Chip about a year before that, just happenstance. I was doing a foundation event and asked if we could bring it to his club at San Jose Golf Club. So we actually had a sandwich, and I told him my passion about having these 9-hole events for first tee. Yeah. And he and the head pro and another member, Stephen Jost, were there, and they said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Yeah. So Chip had passed away about a year after that. And the first year, the first tee named the award after Chip. And then now I'm the third recipient of the award. And it's basically, community game changer is what they call it. So I'm honored to receive that award, and we're going to do that in September in Jacksonville. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And 9 holes is probably a great way for kids to jump in and feel some competitive juices, I would guess.
Yeah, what we've done with part of my foundation work in Jacksonville, I came up with these 9-hole kind of events that we pair the members at golf courses with the first tee kids. Right. So 9 holes, the members get to see how great these kids are. They're good golfers and they're great people. And then the kids get to know the members, and that could be just life-changing. There could be some mentorships, and who knows what those friendships, can lead to down the road.
Well, that's the beauty about our sport is you don't have to be on the PGA Tour for golf to help you or build bridges.
That's right. No, golf's such a great game. Anybody can play it, and it brings everybody closer together for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you got a big event coming up. Is it the Bentley Players Party? Have I got that right?
Yeah, Bentley is our big car sponsor. Bentley is part of a big automotive group there in Jacksonville called Morgado Automotive Group. So Bentley's kind of the feature car, but they got the Alfa Romeos and stuff. So they're going to bring those cars to our big event, and it's only going to be a mile down the road from TPC Friday night, March 10. Big fundraiser for the foundation. Basically, we raise all of our funds in one night for the year, and we'll have about 400 or 500 people there showcasing the foundation and specifically our Stop the Bullying campaign. Yeah. So we do the events for the first tee, but then we have a Stop the Bullying campaign that's in the schools that has nothing to do with golf. It's just trying to send the right messages to the middle school kids.
Yeah, no, that's great. And your website shows that you're, is it $590,000 that you were, was that last year, or is that to date since you started to?
We've actually gone over 500,000 for the first tee. Yeah. And now we're close to 700,000 for a total amount raised. So we're really pleased with that. Not only do we have this fundraiser coming up, but we got this other first tee event, first tee of North Florida, coming up called Play Day. And basically what it is, it's a 1-month campaign of everybody. When everybody goes and plays golf, they can donate $10 extra to their round. Yeah. And that $10 goes to the first tee for kids programs. And then everybody who's within that drawing or that entering the Play Day sweepstakes, we'll pick one lucky winner, and they'll get to play a round of golf at TPC Sawgrass on the stadium course. Yeah. So we'll have a lot of fun.
So we're really a prized treat at this time. I saw yesterday a post on Instagram, $880 for a green fee. Is that correct?
It is. Yeah. It is correct. Yeah. And they have raised the rates, and everything there is escalated. Even the Valley course there, the Dyes Valley, the second course. That's roughly like $300 or $400 around there. So, they have 2 courses. home of the players, you know. So it's
Yeah.
and what a big event coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, no, that's going to be fantastic. Do you have a Bentley yourself? Do they give you one, or what?
No, you know what? I'm working
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. No, that's awesome. Go pick off a few wins on the Champions Tour and treat yourself.
Maybe
Uh,
2 wins.
yeah. No, absolutely. So, what and this the Bentley Players Party? You've been doing this for a few years, right?
We have, yeah. This is our
Yeah,
third year. Third year.
yeah,
It's a big success.
yeah,
We sell out. We're going to sell out this week. We'll sell out a week in advance. There'll be no tickets at the gate.
yeah,
It's just we have about 20 corporations that have signed on that really like what we're doing.
yeah,
And what we're doing, it's all foundation work. I mean, there's no salaries, there's no like
yeah,
office fees, you know, like all the money that we raise goes back to the kids.
yeah,
So I just feel like I'm fortunate. I have the time to do it, and I love doing it. And I just think we're focused in the right way here in
yeah.
Jacksonville on trying to better that the atmosphere in the schools.
Yeah, well, it's amazing that you are able to do that, and because you don't have any other profession or at all, or you know, you're basically you're set yourself up to be able to do this, which is great. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I mean the champions events that I get in, you know, I'm ready to go. You know,
Yeah,
my golf's actually I feel as good as ever. So
excellent.
yeah, my confidence is up high. My skills are good.
Sweet.
So it's just a question of getting in those events, and I'm not exempt. So I'm kind of like outside the field, 10 or 15 guys,
Yeah,
and that's frustrating. But so I stay healthy, happy, and
yeah,
ready to go when they call me in, you know, for a
yeah.
tournament.
No,
But in the meantime, I do this foundation stuff, and it's very worthwhile.
yeah, no, that's it is definitely. What give us a sense of how the money helps the kids, you know, through the programs, you know, because I'm assuming it's just a little more than golf as well, right?
Yeah, this Stop the Bullying campaign has nothing to do with golf. So no
Yeah,
golf tournaments, no golf talk. I mean, we go into the schools and we challenge the kids each semester to do their own projects. So we challenge them to say, okay, you come up with a project in the fall semester. Now we're in the spring semester, and we're going to actually we pay out top 10 projects.
no
So
way.
what the kids do is they engage the community, they engage others. So like the cheerleading team will come up with a project and they'll get the school involved, or a group of kids will do it, or an individual, or even a student that will go out in the community and do a service project.
Yeah,
So they do the projects, but we give them some guidelines on what to do.
yeah,
And we're kind of focused on the projects of kindness, compassion, and inclusion. So those
yeah,
three things are the main topics. And then they share those projects with their class and with their school. And then we as a foundation end up seeing that at the end of the semester. And then we promote those projects, we award the students, and everybody wins.
yeah. No, it's very cool. And are you seeing a difference, like in building awareness and you know, preventing like the bad apples from, you know,
Well, we're
partaking in?
definitely seeing the awareness of people knowing more about this campaign.
Yeah,
And we're trying to spread that word through social media, and inside the schools we have big posters up. We've got the right messages
hmm,
listed. We're in 50 different middle schools across Jacksonville,
wow,
so that covers over 55,000 students.
yeah,
And every day these kids come in and they see these big banners, Stop the Bullying campaign, you know, with a big hand like that, and it's kind of green. It's on our website, kind of a green hand logo. And but so we're definitely seeing an infusion of awareness.
yeah,
How to measure that's a tough thing. So
definitely.
if we
That's
how do you measure that? But we feel like if we can get more kids involved in this campaign, then I think the atmosphere is going to be a little bit toned down more, you know, where sometimes it's ramped up
yeah,
to where kids get hurt.
yeah. Well, I mean, we were kids, once in our lives, and you've seen it, whether it's been directed your way or you've seen it happen to other kids, and throughout school. And I think, yeah, the more people that see it, the kids can back each other up, because usually you
Yeah.
stand up to the bully and they back off. A lot of the times.
Right. And especially if someone's getting bullied, if a group of kids can kind of come to their rescue, so to speak, and
Mhm.
be their friend and be kind of just kind of in their circle, then the
Mhm.
bullies kind of go away,
Yeah.
and the bullies might end up changing their tune over a little time.
Yeah.
But we definitely address the middle. We address the kids who are getting bullied to kind of help them say, hey, look, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, like, we also did part of our foundation work. We did a Jacksonville Jaguar video. So we went into the Jaguar Stadium and we
Very
asked
cool.
if any of the players want to come in and talk about bullying. Did
Yeah.
they get bullied? Did they see bullying when they were kids? So we had about 15 of these Jaguars come in. At the time, this was just before COVID. So at the time, Leonard Fournette was there, star running back, and we had 15 guys that actually spoke very well.
Mhm.
Calais Campbell, they spoke very well about how they either were bullied or saw bullying and what they did to change it.
Mhm.
So we actually put that video together and then we sent it to all the middle schools. So
Yeah.
here you have about a 25-minute video of not only the Jaguars, but then we had other students talk about it. We had the mayor of the city talk about it, the
Mhm.
superintendent of the schools. And I think if you're if you're a seventh grader and you're sitting there and you're either bullying or you're getting bullied, I think that video has a lot to do with the improvement of the atmosphere.
Mhm.
So because a lot of kids, when they get bullied, they feel like
Whoops, looks like we've lost Len. Let's give a minute to dial back in. Good old internet. Well, he's talking about a great topic. Um, Many people have experienced bullying through their lives, and what he's doing is fantastic work. So we'll give him a couple minutes to dial back in. Um, in the short term, if anyone wanted to know more about Len, he's played over 400 PGA Tour events, 2 wins, 3 runner-up finishes, 3 third-place finishes, top 10 23 times, and he's been playing on tour since 1993, winning a total of $6.8 million on tour during those times. His wins at the 2002, both of them, FedEx St. Jude Classic and the Nissan Open. And I believe I recall from his last appearance on our show that he broke his leg, if I've got that right, and had to take a break after 2002. But let's not forget about the 2003 Masters, where Len and Mike Weir, took it to a playoff and ultimately to the treasure of us Canadians, Mike Weir won the green jacket. He was also 1996 in another playoff, the Buick Challenge, and lost to Michael Bradley. Fred Funk and Davis Love and John McGuinness were part of that. And as well, in 1997, he was part of the Walker Cup team. 1987, pardon me, is a Walker Cup teammate. So that's a little bit about Len. Now, we're going to give him a couple minutes to dial in here, and I'll just keep reviewing some stats here and some points about Len. He's a great follow on Twitter at Len Mattiace. You guys see what he's been up to, and with all of these events that are coming up through his foundation, the Len Mattiace Foundation. You can go to his website at lenmattiace.com, and you'll click the foundation link, and everything's right there. All the campaign, Stop the Bullying campaign, and forms, Yeah, there's lots to see there. It's a pretty well laid out website. You can play with Len. He's got some options to win a spot to play with him, as he's mentioned. And you can dive into his bio and his sponsors and his what's in the bag clubs. So yeah, it's been a few minutes, so I think Len might be having some technical difficulties on his end, and so we're going to kick over to the PGA Tour. Whoever was watching that yesterday with Eric Cole and Chris Kirk dueling it out in a playoff. Pretty interesting golf. Both of them have great stories. Chris Kirk openly talking about alcohol struggles and embracing his sobriety, and had a big breakthrough win. It's his fifth win, but it's been a while since he's been in the winner's circle. And on the other side of that story, Eric Cole has his own stories. Had been recently diagnosed with diabetes and some other health trouble, and had struggled through that. And it's won 50 times on mini tours throughout his year. So he's no stranger to winning. Great playoff though. It was a lot of fun to watch. And on the other side of the PGA Tour, we had the LIV event at Mayakoba, former PGA Tour stop. So had a lot of the players down there, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Chase Koepka for that matter. And Charles Howell ended up taking it, pocketing another 4 million plus yesterday through his win. It's been a while since he's been in the winner's circle, but he did lay down a fantastic round of golf yesterday. So he won by a few shots, I believe. So hats off to Charles Howell. And we look forward to seeing what comes next week in golf. We've got some big events coming up. Arnold Palmer Invitational's coming, and here we go. Here's Len. He's coming back in.
Hey,
here he comes.
I'm so sorry. My phone went dead.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. It's good test for me to ramble on by myself for a few minutes here, running through highlights of the weekend. But yeah, no, that's great.
I want to make sure that like it's on. I'm charging. I had it on charger, and it just evidently didn't. Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah. No, that looks great.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you dialed back in because I was running out of things to talk about.
Man, sorry about that.
Yeah, so. No worries, Len. No, I'm glad. I figured it's usually the battery that is the cause of a tech issue.
Yeah, and yeah. I had it on charger, but evidently it wasn't. It didn't connect. It wasn't charging it, but even though I had it on my charger.
Yeah, no worries. No, thanks for dialing back in, and I'd love to dive into the golf. What you're on standby for Champions Tour events, but do you have any qualifiers lined up, or do you have any events that you're getting into this year?
Yeah, I did the qualifying at Chubb for the Champions event down in Naples. I shot a 70, but it took 68, so missed by 2. And then the next qualifying for me will be, I've got this big foundation event during the Players Tournament. So, but then the next qualifying will be out in Palm Springs. It's a new event called the Gallery Classic. It's a new Champions event actually in Palm Springs at Mission
Hills.
Mission Hills. Yeah.
But that's exciting because it's taken over the loss of the LPGA event. So it's at the same course, which is a great facility. So it's.
I remember that 18th hole, right?
Yeah.
Over the water, par 5.
Yeah. No, and you're going to be jumping in the water when you win it, right?
Yes.
I would love to see that tradition continue. See one of the Champions Tour guys jump into the lake. I think that would be fantastic, but we'll see.
Wouldn't that be a scene?
Yeah. Wouldn't want anyone to hurt themselves.
I know, but that's a great opportunity for us, and then there's one in Dallas as well. and then it's a celebrity event with Club Car. I think they changed the name of it though for the title, but Club Car is behind it, and then a couple invitationals as well. So just trying to get in those. Yeah. But again, my game feels really good. I've been playing a lot, healthy. Yeah. So if I get a couple starts, I'll look forward to, making an impact. Have some good finishes.
Yeah, that'd be great. We look forward to seeing that. And so what curious, like, because you've been a member at Sawgrass for quite a long time, right?
Sure have.
What's your lowest round out there?
67.
Yeah.
So nothing, like I was having the round of my life at the Players Championship in 1998 during the tournament. And I made 8 birdies and a bogey. So I was 7 under par going into 17, and 17 bit me hard, making an 8 on that hole.
Oh my.
So I had up to that point 8 birdies so I was 7 under, so par for 65. Yeah. And that would have been my lowest, but you got to play them all. So, but 100%. I ended up birdieing 18. I ended up making 9 birdies that day.
That's unbelievable.
9 birdies on the final round of the Players.
So do you still have PTSD when you get up to that 17th tee box?
I never forget it.
I bet.
I mean, and that's my home course. So, and at TPC Sawgrass, they have 2 courses. So the stadium and the Valley. And I play about 50-50, just for break it up, good variety. But that stadium course is really great.
Yeah, I've played the kind of sister course stadium at PGA West quite a bit, being a West Coaster here. And
that's fantastic.
It's fun, right? I know some people don't like it because usually they get stuck in one of those bunkers, and like you get offline and Pete Dye is going to, ruffle your feathers, just to say it politely.
I think it's severe. I mean, it's severe, like with a lot of water, a lot of deep bunkers. Yeah. Those last 3 holes at PGA West, anything can happen.
Oh, 100%. The 16, that deep bunker, which I've been in, and I've been lucky to get out of it every time I've been in one. But
there's nothing like that. I mean, there's nothing like it, really. I mean, and then especially then you go to 17, you got Alcatraz, surrounded, and it could play 180 yards, I think, right? I mean,
yeah, I believe it can get stretched out. It usually seems to be about 145, which for you guys is a wedge or a 9 maybe.
Well,
but
in the tournament they play 175.
Okay, yeah, it's that's a tight little postage stamp from 175 yards, and with all those jagged rocks, and that's one thing I love about Pete Dye's designs is he uses the railway ties, but at PGA West, it's all railway ties and smooth and clean in the front and back 9. It's jagged edges and big rocks hanging around all the hazards. And but there's also lots of room. Like if you know the course and you know how to navigate it, you can steer a good round out there. But as soon as you miss, it's like you're into special teams right away to try and get up and down. And
that's right.
I love it. I mean, it's a bit of a sadomasochist for, we have to be as golfers, right? It's like we love the reward, but the punishment is more often, experienced to us in golf.
Yeah, what a game. I mean, if we hit a couple shots in a round that are exactly what we want, it just keeps bringing us back. Yeah. So, and, as pros, we try and do it more often during a round, but, that's what's so great about the game. At any given time, people can hit the shot of their life, and that's what makes it special. Yeah.
And you never know. You could be, in your 4th shot, 5th shot, facing adversity, and you hole a 70-foot putt or something. Like the game just throws you a bone once in a while that you just never think is going to happen to you.
Or you could be like 100 yards out, just ready to make a nice birdie and duff the shot. And, and you're just like, what happened there? You want to do it again.
Oh, that's 100%. And you even see it at tour player levels, just like a wild shot that an amateur does that it makes you realize that, hey, this is a really hard sport.
Yeah, I mean, look at even yesterday, right? The Honda Classic. What was that? It was Chris Kirk, right?
Chris Kirk and Eric Cole battling it out.
I mean, if Chris hits some second shot left of the green on 18, he's pretty much assured to win, you know, because he's going to be in the same spot as Cole was, but and with a 1-shot lead, but he hit in the water. So he's just like, you know, he probably couldn't believe he did that. Yeah. But that stuff happens occasionally, and what are you going to do?
And what was amazing that Chris Kirk still won, because a lot of times when that happens, you know, you have the lead, you mess it up on 18, and your mind gets in there, and then the other player usually takes it. So you know, it was a good battle, and Eric Cole, being pin high in 2, didn't hit his best chip there. You know,
he was actually
he pitched it, and it's like that ran way too long, and and again he had to feel the nerves. His hands, he must have been shaking a little bit, because there's a lot on the line for him.
Absolutely. I mean, I mean, this is his first year on the tour, right? So, you know, he had an opportunity to win, and I think I would have lowered the chip a little bit. He went up high some, and you know, and that tight Bermuda grass, I think I would have rolled it more, and just try to almost like a putt, but chip it and just get it rolling. But he was in a great position. I mean, he was doing it, and it's his best tournament so far. So I'm sure I'm sure he'll carry that out and have a super year this year. Yeah, exactly. I mean, to take a second place paycheck home, and he's no stranger to winning. He has 50 wins on other tours. So, you know, it's probably a guy we're going to see around out there. You know, and then it's a shame we're losing Honda as a sponsor. They've been there for 42 years, I believe. Honda, is that right? No longer.
Yeah, that's what Jack was talking about yesterday, and they were talking about the strength of the field, obviously, with the new PGA Tour elevated events. This one is caught in between, you know, a series of elevated events, and you know, so it kind of makes sense that some of the top players wanted a week off, but it's a shame. I hope that this event maybe finds a different place in the schedule, or you know, because it's a great golf course, and a lot of history there. One of the best in the state, and you know, so that's too bad. Yeah, that tournament's been around, some of the longest events there at Honda, and I know Tucson was there, and Phoenix. You know, Tucson's now a Champions event, but you know, those events have been on the tour for a long time. So I'm sure it'll find its place. And Jack seems pretty confident that it's going to be, you know, dealt with. And I mean, they can't. It's Jack's. You know, Jack's such a big part of that event. They can't shuffle that, you know, onto the back burners. They've got to do something with it. Yeah, I think a lot of dollars go to his hospital or his children's, you know, charities and stuff. So I'm sure it'll find a spot. Yeah. Well, it's someone just based on that, there's got to be a corporation who'll come up and you know, fill Honda's boots and help keep it going. Because it would be just a shame to lose. Did you pay any attention to the LIV event this weekend? I saw some of it. You know, I mean, I can't believe they were at Mayakoba. I mean, you know, that was on the tour schedule for a long time. I played the first few events there when it was at Mayakoba, like the first 5 or 6 that were there. I love that place. Like, that is a cool golf course. With the way it's etched out of the jungle and comes up to the beach, and it looks fantastic. But you got, you know, fairway, a little rough, and jungle. So it's like tight, very tight. It's as tight as it looks, you know. It's tight. Yeah. Well, you know what it is. Okay, here's the deal. 40-yard, probably, you know, 30 to 40-yard fairways. They're not like, you know, not like that. But if you miss the fairway, it's lost ball, gonzo. Yeah. So that's what makes it tighter than what it actually is, just because the penalty. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, if you have 30-yard fairways, usually then you have some rough. You know, but there it's a few yards of rough, and then it's just lost ball. So, yeah, you're feeling it on every tee that
you have to be very accurate.
Yeah,
you got to be on your game.
And when they're basically clear the grounds with machetes to you know,
Yeah,
to prepare
Yeah.
for that, they can't really take much more out of the natural landscape, I suppose.
No, it's a beautiful golf course. I mean, it's just a
Yeah.
beautiful, right, like you say, right on the ocean. The resort's right there, and I heard they got big crowds. So
It looked pretty good. Like I saw some chatter online on the opening round. I had a couple texts from buddies who were saying, "Oh, there's no one there." I'm like, "Well, give it a break. You know, it's the first round, and they're actually quite isolated. I know that area fairly well. I've never been at
Right.
that resort, but I've been down there a lot, and
right.
it's not exactly easy for the masses to get out to a golf event like that, even on PGA Tour level.
Yeah,
I think
PGA Tour. PGA
yeah.
Tour was light. It was probably like the lightest event,
Yeah.
just because when everybody goes to Cancun area, they want to do their own vacation, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not really set up for, like, certainly not like a Players Championship or a Honda Classic or a Phoenix, you know, where it is the thing for the week.
Yeah.
Usually probably PGA Tour, I would say like 5,000 people total for the week. So I don't know what the LIV Tour got, but I've heard they've done good jobs with attracting families, ticket sales, corporations.
Yeah. Well, and they're doing a good job with, like, reaching out to the social media influencers and all, like, you know, the drivers of the younger audience, if you will. It seems like they're a slightly younger demographic, and with the music and all of that, and you know, but you know, I flip between both events, and you know, they both had moments, and yeah, I was also getting texts about the new CW network, and people complaining, oh, it's not as good as the tour broadcasts. I'm like, well, just remember, these guys are in beta, so you know, we shall see. And but at the end of the day, it was great to see Dustin and, you know, Abraham Answer and all these guys, and it's like, because there's, you know, the Honda event had you know, you can talk about the strength of field. There's still a lot of great players out there, like Shane Lowry and you know, Sepp Straka won last year, but there's also a lot of opportunity for some of the young guys to come out there on PGA Tour right now and take advantage, if you want to call it a void on tour, because we have lost a handful of players over to LIV, obviously. So, but yeah, you know, change creates opportunity. You know,
That's right.
This we don't know where this is going to go, and you know, you know, the PGA Tour is not going anywhere. We know that.
Right.
So
yeah, well, it's a great opportunity as a player right now. You know,
yeah.
my nephew's 25 years old, Michael Mattiace, and
Yeah.
he's trying to get on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Yeah.
And it's a great if you're 20 to 30 years old right now, it's a great, you know, and you're a top player, it's a great time to be a pro golfer, because, like you say, like, you got that LIV Tour that's offering, you know, smaller fields, big purses, and the tour has now infused a lot of money and a couple extra events in as well. So, and the Corn Ferry has elevated as well.
Yeah, the Corn Ferry is absolutely has, and it'd be great to see the PGA Tour help bolster, like, the PGA Canada, maybe PGA Latin America, maybe help get those purses up a little bit, because, you know, some of those guys are literally driving event to event, you know, sleeping in their to their car, or even, you know, cheap little you know, bug infested motels. What you know, I mean, you know, the grind that some of these guys go through, and you know, it would be cool to see the PGA Tour help, you know, just throw a little bit of money over into those tours. It would go a long way.
It would go a long way. Yeah. And I know the Corn Ferry purses are now $1 million, and I'm sure the tour is looking at the tours under the Corn Ferry to try and boost them up. And like you say, a little bit of money goes a long way for those guys.
Yeah.
And it's goodwill as well. And I think the tour would be smart to do that.
Yeah.
Just to kind of rise all tides.
Well, definitely, right. It's like, you know, the LIV Tour has been extremely controversial, and you know, some divisive in a lot of ways, but at the same time, you throw some competition into the mix, and look what happens. You know, the PGA Tour's got a lot more money floating around, and you know, it's I personally don't like how it all transpired. I you know, when there's now enemies and you know amongst the tour, but how interesting are the majors going to be this year when you see these live players show up and there's some tension, and it might make for some good TV.
Maybe so. I
Yeah.
did see that all the live players are invited to come, you know, are eligible for the majors.
Yeah.
So it'll all shake out, you know, in a year, 2 or 3. It'll all kind of, you know, it'll all kind of find its place.
I think so. I mean, at the end of the day, golf is not going anywhere, and this you know, Greg Norman's wanted to do a world tour for a long time. And so, yeah, we'll see. You know, it's
That's right.
We'll be watching. It gives us lots of stuff to talk about on
Yeah,
podcasts.
that's
right. so yeah, no, good. And I was kind of wanted to dig into if you ever golf with Trump.
You know what? I did have a tee time with him.
Yeah.
But it was before COVID.
Yeah.
And let's see, at that point, that was, he was president, and we were going to go. I had my daughter with me. We went down to West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
But if you remember, it was the Parkland shooting down in Fort Lauderdale that happened.
Right.
That happened on a Tuesday, if I remember right. We had set up a golf round for Saturday, and you know, he wasn't going to show because obviously, you know, that wouldn't have been good if he's playing golf, you know, an hour away from school shooting. That was so devastating.
Yeah.
So he stayed away from that, and you know, good for him. I think it was on the President's weekend, if I remember right, because a few days later he ended up playing with Gary Player at his golf course. But I got to meet Eric Trump, and they're great for golf. They're great people, and they're great for golf. And I've met Donald Trump, talked to him about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
In golf settings, business setting, and he listens a lot.
Yeah.
And so does Eric Trump. They listen, which is impressive because people
That's a good skill.
Yeah, they don't people like that could easily not listen to what people have to say, but when no cameras are around, he's listening. You know what I mean? Like everybody has opinion of Donald Trump, whatever it is, but I can tell you when there's no cameras around, he listens, and he's very caring person. So that's what I could speak to.
Yeah, I've heard he's extremely personable. You know, in the settings you've described, and even golfing with him, and you know, you hear all kinds of stories. Some say that he's a fantastic golfer, and then the Democratic golfers are probably saying no, he's not really that good. And like, so it's but yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that he's great in person, and you know, makes you feel included in the conversation, and listening is a great skill.
I know from other friends he plays very fast.
Yes.
And I think whatever presidents are in office, I think it's cheap shots. Yeah. When other politicians say, well, he's out on the golf course too much, or he's doing this, that, or whatever. If they have athletic hobbies that kind of give them a little bit of, healthiness outside their business, I think that's a good thing. And I think that people shouldn't get involved with cheap shots like that, just whatever the president is. So
I agree, because many presidents have been golfers. Bush, Obama, Clinton, they've all golfed, and
JFK.
They should. So especially the Japanese prime minister, I'm trying to recall his name, but they golfed. Him and Trump golfed a lot, and what a better way to network, to get business. It's not like a president is out of touch when they're on the golf course. They have everybody around them. So should anything major happen,
that's right.
He's there and informed. And so,
and what's the difference if you're inside the White House, like, in a room taking a nap or reading a book or watching a movie? It's like, people shouldn't get involved in those types of things. But the cheap shots like that, I call them, because people need those healthy outlets.
Yeah. So 100%. And a non-golfer may not understand that, but if a president liked fencing or volleyball or whatever the sport is,
Right.
and anybody, an executive, if just anybody should be making an effort to, breaking the norm and getting away from the office or whatever their job is, and enjoying.
I do know that Trump Golf is a great thing for the sport. They have these clubs. They have like 30 or 40 clubs all around the world, and the ones that I've gone to, they're incredible layouts. They're tough. They're in immaculate shape.
Mm-hmm.
The people are first class. That run the events, and that Trump Golf organization is really sharp. So I'm proud. Like I represent that brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud to, because I like the people, and I think they're great for golf.
Yeah, you look at his facilities. He's restored some facilities that needed a little TLC. He's injected a lot of capital into golf all around the world. So
Sure has.
Right. So they are good for golf. Whether anyone likes the side of the aisle or not is irrelevant. So, but for the game of golf, they're great. So, and what is your role with Trump Golf?
It's just a representation of the brand. So there's about 20 or 30, I'd say, golfers, maybe 40 on all the tours. That represent the logo. So the logo can be, on the bag or on the shirt. Mine's on the hat. Yeah. And in return, we get to be able to pop into Trump golf courses when we travel and play. Yeah. So it's a great thing. And then we're kind of tied in with Trump Golf, the organization. So great people. Larry Glick is the head operations of Trump Golf, right under Eric Trump. And Larry does a great job, and we're just passionate about business and passionate about golf. Yeah,
that's a great gig. Do you get to stay in the properties too, or
if we need to, if we want to, yeah.
No, that's really cool. That's a good gig. That's anything else that you'd like to mention in terms of sponsors or shout outs to anybody?
Well, we've got. I just feel really fortunate that I'm able to do this foundation work in Jacksonville, and we're centered on the kids, so we have the golf events for the first tee of North Florida, and we have the Stop the Bullying campaign that's in middle schools. We focus on about 11-year-olds to about 15-year-olds, where we feel like it's pivotal to kind of send the right messages to those kids, and make that community, make that environment in school a little bit nicer. Kids deserve that, so that's what we're focused on. And I just continue to play champions events, so I feel blessed to be able to do it. And absolutely, do I want to play a little bit better? And that drives me. So I look forward to some good tournaments this year.
Oh, great. Well, and we're pulling for you, so let's get it done. And if you got your full status back, would you run a full schedule on Champions Tour?
Absolutely. Full schedule.
Okay. There we go. Let's see it.
Full schedule. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, that's great. So
good to be with you.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming in today. And for anyone who's watching, please, share it, subscribe to it. We'll post this episode out on all the podcast platforms tomorrow. Currently it's on YouTube, and we'll share the links on social media. On behalf of everybody, Len, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
That's fantastic, and best
of
luck
down the road
with the event. So hope it goes well.
Appreciate it.
So I'll cut the feed